What's going on tonight, guys? Welcome back. We're doing another episode of Midnight Sessions. Tonight's kind of a combo twofer. It's going to be a Midnight Sessions and it's also going to be a guitar demo. I've got this beautiful Ibanez here with me on my lap tonight. And funny story about this is somebody left a comment in my last video basically saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but they basically said, just get it over with, get yourself an Ibanez RG550 and be done with it. Well, as it happens, I just happened to have this one in the house at the time, and it was next up on deck anyhow, so couldn't come at a better time, but I just thought it was kind of funny and coincidental. Anyhow, yeah, the Ibanez RG550 Genesis, that's what I have here tonight. This guitar is amazing, and I don't want you to get it twisted. I just want to set the record straight right off the bat, right here, right now. Ibanez is and always has been my favorite guitar brand, hands down, period, end of story. Now, that all being said, I still like other brands. I still love certain models by other brands. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a variety of guitars, and it's fun to mess around with different ones. But at the end of the day, for me, it's always going to be Ibanez. It's been my favorite brand for years. I mean, literally decades now. Ever since, Passion and Warfare came out, and Steve Vai on the cover with that Universe guitar was just gorgeous. It was incredible. It was like, transcendental, basically, is how it felt to me, because I was just learning how to play the guitar at that time. And that album just came along at the right time, and I just fell in love with Ibanez, and I've been a fan ever since. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory really quick, and not a whole history, I'm by no means an expert. There's other people on YouTube that have much more thorough, videos documenting detailed, information about how the RG came to be and all the different iterations of it throughout the years. But from what I understand, the RG was basically just born out of being a more mass-produced version of Steve Vai's Gem, his signature guitar, which came out, I believe it dropped in 1987, somewhere around there. And this is basically just a dumbed down version of that. But the two guitars share a lot of similarities, a few differences, obviously. I mean, the main ones being, of course, visually, this doesn't have the monkey grip. This doesn't have the tiger's claw behind the trem. The trem itself is different. I think the body wood is different. The pickups are different, but other than that, they share the similar, same lineage, essentially. The same family, just not the same species, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the RG, in its current form here, the RG550 Genesis, I think it's kind of an homage or a throwback to the original RGs, but basically, kind of more spec'd out for the modern musician now that we have come to expect certain things here in the modern day. But a lot of things have carried over, a lot of things are the same. Essentially, the body shape is the same. The neck shape is essentially the same. The headstock obviously is the same. This is one of the first real, in my opinion, one of the first really, really modern super strat, looking guitars. It always looked a little bit futuristic, but never out of place. I mean, you've got the thin wizard neck. I forget which series this is, but it's rather thin. I don't know if it's the thinnest wizard that they make. There's different, versions. The fretwork is immaculate, as you would expect from a guitar made in Japan. $1,000 for a made in Japan Ibanez, a brand new guitar. I think that's an amazing deal. I mean, it's not even a sale price. That's just the price. You can't go wrong. I mean, if you like Ibanez or you wanted to get yourself a Japanese guitar, you might want to really consider something like this, because it's got, it's just ready to go. It functions perfectly. It sounds great. There's no issues, any concerns with it whatsoever. It's very well balanced. It's just well built. And the lineage, man, just the Ibanez RG lineage. They don't make bad guitars, okay, first off. But the made in Japan ones are exceptional quality. Exceptional. Every time. I mean, certain countries are known for being really great at some particular thing. Like, Scotland makes Scotch. Italy makes some of the best supercars in the world. Things like that. Japan, one of the many things they do well is make really well-built guitars. And this one here is no exception. Now, because it's an RG 550, there are some appointments that are kind of missing, things you would expect it to have. But I mean, again, at that price range, it's not a big deal. Like, there aren't stainless steel frets on this. I kind of wish there were. It's okay. It's not a big deal. But these frets are rather wide, and they're not very tall, which was unexpected, because other RGs I'd played in the past, I think they were kind of more like the extra jumbo frets, which are wide and tall. They're just big all around. These are just very wide, but they're kind of flat, close to the fretboard. So I feel like after a few years of play, you can maybe have them filed down one time, but there's not a lot of materials. You probably would have to have it refretted, relatively soon. Not a big deal unless you're somebody who plays one guitar and you play it all the time. Then you might see some, wear on that and some dents eventually. There aren't any locking tuners, right? You don't need them because it's double locking trim, of course. But yeah, no locking tuners. That's another modern feature that we've come to expect and I really appreciate. But the fact that it doesn't have them doesn't really bother me because, again, this is a throwback to the original, which came out over 35 years ago when I don't think they had locking tuners back then. But if they did, nobody was using them yet. But yeah, this guitar speaks for itself. It sells itself. It's like when you go... If you were to go buy a Porsche or a Ferrari or something, the car sells itself. You don't need a salesperson to tell you what it does. That's kind of how I feel about these guitars. If you're somebody looking for the modern metal axe that's just tried and true, tested, has high quality, and doesn't cost that much, relatively speaking, something like this is what you might want to go with. Now, I just had to get this blue color because it's stunning, first of all. And I'm not even a blue guy, really. I'm mostly a red guy, but everyone else that reviewed this guitar over the past couple of years did that Road Flare red color, which is really nice. It doesn't pick up well on camera, first of all. And second of all, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to have a little variety here on the channel. So I went with the blue color, and I am not disappointed. Unfortunately, I am disappointed because I have to send this guitar back to Zounds, who loaned it to me so I could review it, but that's okay. So in the meanwhile, I've got this for another week or two, and I think I'm going to write some music with it, and I didn't do a demo track for this yet, so maybe I'm going to put that together over the course of the next week because I just am having a blast playing this guitar. Now, I did mention in my previous video, the Legator video, that, they're kind of giving competition to Ibanez. But again, don't get it twisted. They're two different companies. They both make great products at different price ranges. But at the end of the day, you have to say to yourself, do I want the highest quality? Do I want my favorite first choice brand? Or do I want to save a few bucks and get something that plays pretty much comparable to that? So, if you're in the market to buy a new guitar and you're kind of in the market for this genre of guitar, like a metal guitar, you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. If you don't have unlimited funds, then that matters. If money's no issue, then just go ahead and get yourself, the best of the best and, have a nice day. Enjoy it. But yeah, for $1,000, this is it. This is absolutely it. This is my wheelhouse. This is the kind of guitar I personally prefer to play. The pointy, sharp, modern metal guitars. I like to review and check out lots of other types of guitars as well. Don't get me wrong, but this is just my absolute favorite, man. Ibanez are sick. It's funny. I watch a lot of different guitar channels myself, and I follow people that don't play any Ibanez. They just play SGs or Les Pauls or, whatever their favorite guitar is. Everyone kind of has their own favorite thing, and that's okay. That's part of the spice of life. That's what makes the world go round. You can appreciate different stuff, even if it's something that you don't necessarily want to own and play. There's still things about it you can appreciate. Like, you could appreciate the quality of this guitar. If you were to pick this up and just feel how smooth it is, how solidly built it is, how well it stays in tune, all that stuff, I think you would really appreciate that. The finish is beautiful. I appreciate that, that's for sure. The trem is really nice too because it doesn't have that screw-in top arm. It has a pop-in arm that just kind of stays in place with those little white bushings. And when it does start to get loose over time, you can just pop those bushings off and replace them. For a couple of bucks, you can get a new pair. So that's really nice. That's kind of my favorite style of arm, the kind that just pops in, locks in place, and that's it. The only downside to this trem for me is that, again, it's got those fine tuners that kind of stick up, they kind of jut out so they can get in your way a little bit. I've discussed that in other videos. That's just a personal problem. That's my own issue. That's my own hang up. It's not really a big deal, but I'm somebody who tends to play pretty far back on the bridge sometimes, and I do have a tendency to bump those fine tuners when I'm playing, but it hasn't really come to be an issue with this guitar yet, so I'm getting used to it, I guess. Yeah, Ibanez, man. They knock it out of the park every time. There's no missteps with Ibanez, as far as I can tell, over the last, and I've been following the brand for the past pretty much 30 years, right? They don't make any missteps. They don't make any oopsies. There's no guitars that, left the manufacturing facility without being checked, or a model that just flopped. I mean, they do their homework, they do their research, and they just make the best of the best. They really do. So tonight I'm just doing a couple of sounds here really quickly with the Neural DSP's Archetype Pliny X. And I'm just doing some lead tones. I'm not doing any shredding. We're just gonna kind of chill, sit back and relax. Like I said, get yourself a drink and just hang out. A lot of times in the middle of the night, if I can't sleep, I'll just go on the couch and like watch YouTube for a while or listen to a podcast or something. And that's kind of the vibe I want to get with this. I mean, it's not really a live stream, but in the future I may do some live streams when I have, a larger viewing audience. But in the meanwhile, just kind of kick back, put this on in the background, and we'll just talk about guitars, man. So, whatever you've got on your mind that's guitar or gear related, leave me a comment down below and we'll talk about it afterwards. This thing is a blast to play. The action's incredible. The neck is super straight. I haven't had to touch the truss rod. It's needed no real adjustments. I did drop the bridge down a little bit, a couple turns with the Allen wrench, and that's all I had to do. Yeah, this thing sounds great. So the pickups in this guitar are Ibanez branded, those V series, whatever they're called. They sound good. I probably would compare them to like a Tone Zone and Air Norton. I think they have a similar type of vibe, a similar sound. They're a little warmer, a little bit almost woolly sounding, but they're definitely not too bright, which is good for me because I just can't stand when a pickup is just straight out of the box, just way too trebly. That's not really my thing. Now, acoustically, the guitar sounds very warm. It sounds like a kind of a dead piece of wood, basically. I don't know, that's probably a poor explanation of it, but it has a much bassier tone than a lot of my other guitars do. Like for instance, the Legator, which I did in my last video, was very bright and chimey sounding. Oddly enough, I seem to like guitars that are very chimey and bright acoustically, but then when you roll up the volume and you play, through the pickups, I don't want it to sound very bright. I want it to kind of be, a little bit warmer. But this one is very warm. Just acoustically, it's very warm sounding. It just sounds like a denser piece of wood, maybe. I don't really know how to explain it. When I first, took it out of the box and strummed it, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't going to be so great. But I was wrong because obviously it sounds amazing once you plug it in. That was kind of a cool riff that I came up with today. I don't really know if I'm going to use that in a song or not, but it sounded kind of funky, kind of groovy. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Just another one of these, midnight sessions. This one's going to be a short one. I just wanted to kind of pop in tonight and say, hey, what's up? How's it going? Please feel free to leave a comment down below. I like to chat with you guys. I just want to hear about what you guys are into, music-wise, gear-wise. What kind of bands are you listening to these days? Is there some new album you're waiting for, or what's the last guitar you bought? Just anything. I just like to hear from you guys and kind of chat and have a back and forth dialogue in the comments. Again, eventually down the line, we'll do some live streaming and stuff. But for now, just going to do these midnight sessions once in a while. It's late at night. We're just kind of chilling, sitting back, relaxing, and just talking gear and talking about guitars and all that cool stuff. So yeah, thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. This was a lot of fun. And I'm definitely going to do a demo track with this guitar before I send it back. So this is not the last time you'll see this guitar. I'll probably do a more thorough demo review like I normally do. So, stick around for that. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I do post new videos, which they're not too often. I do 1 or 2 a week, generally speaking. So, yeah. Oh, real quick, I'm going to give a big shout out to all my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. It really means the world to me. I can't thank you enough. I'm just really happy to be doing this stuff, man. I love what I do. I love doing the YouTube thing, and I'm going to keep on doing it. And I'm really hoping to build up the channel significantly this year. 2025 is the year. I'm going to make it happen. So I'm going to put a lot more time and effort into the content that I'm bringing you guys. But I just want to say thank you. You guys are awesome. You rock. So until next time, guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with me this evening. Have a great one. I'll talk to you soon. I'm out of here. See ya.